Hey everybody, it's Paul.
And Steve.
And we are back again today to discuss it all. Before we get to today's topic, which I'm really excited
Me too, yeah.
We would like to encourage you to please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification button. That will let you know whenever we post something new. Now, if you ever have a question for us, or you have a video suggestion or topic suggestion for us, leave those in the comments down below. Go ahead, don't be shy, join the conversation. We would love to hear from you.
That's right. We love your ideas, your suggestions. Love to hear from you, so make sure that you drop a comment below. And today we have an exciting topic to discuss. We're excited about it because we love horror movies and other movies where there's action and adventure, where there's a villain.
Yes.
And so in this video, we're going to talk about our top movie villains of all time.
Yes.
The top 5 in no particular order.
No
movie villains of all time. And so today, Paul, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
I want to hear yours.
All right, this is going to be fun. I think we're going to have a lot of the same, but I've got a bunch. Yep. So, all right, I'm going to start off with an animated one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll start that off, and this is going to be my only animated one, but it's going to be Scar from The Lion King.
Oh yes. Oh, great pick.
So I feel like there were several different eras of Disney movies.
Yep.
I feel like we had a golden age, which would have been like the really classic stuff like Cinderella, Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the late 80s, Disney animation kind of reinvented itself. We kind of got like the Silver Age, where we had Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and of course The Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Scar's just a great character.
Oh, yeah.
His motivation is great. He's jealous of his brother, wants to be king, wants to take him out, and and that has these henchmen of hyenas who gets to do it.
That's right.
And he's just such a good villain. I love the fact Disney was able to, just the way they drew him.
Yeah.
And he's a good looking, realistic looking lion.
That's right.
But contrast him to the other lions, you can immediately tell that he's the evil one.
He's the bad guy.
He's the bad guy. And then of course he's voiced by Jeremy Irons.
Which is fabulous.
Which is great. He's
wonderful.
got a good song. And he's just everything a villain should be. He's got that voice.
Absolutely.
He's manipulative.
Yeah.
He's really. I mean, he's a physical threat because he's a lion.
Of course.
And of course, when Simba's young, but he's kind of twisting your emotions all the time.
Yeah, sure, all the time.
And so he's just a great villain.
He is a classic villain. He is the definition of what a villain should be. And you're right. Everything about him is good. And one of the things that stands out is when the planes essentially just give way to disaster and they're desolate. He's happy to be a king over that desolate place. And that's what a picture of a villain. As long as I have mine, it doesn't matter what happens for everybody else. That's a villainous king.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
Yeah, no, it's a great. I love that pick.
Yeah. So
that's really good.
Going with Scar.
Yeah, that's a great one. So I'm going to go with a pick that was one of the earliest villains that I really made an impact on me. I remember it vividly in 10th grade, and that is Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. That movie is one of my favorite movies of all times. Didn't really like the later Nightmares, but the Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger was just fabulous. Anybody that is a villain, not just in your sleep, but then when you're awake. Oh my goodness, what a great villain.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger was a great villain as well, and I'm with you. So I was terrified of that movie when it first came out, and I didn't see it in the theaters. In fact, I waited a couple years. So I could kind of
smart.
Yeah, and the scene from the original where it's a hokey looking scene nowadays, but he's in an alley and he's chasing somebody and he just spreads his arms out, and then his arms just grow to this where his arm span is now like 15 feet across.
Right. Yep.
And so he can scrape the size of the wall with his knives.
So frightening.
That was just such a terrifying image to me. Yeah. I think because where I lived, I would often find myself in alleys. And so, sometimes there'd be somebody in the alley coming toward you. I don't know who this is.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course it was the 80s, so we were deathly afraid of strangers.
Of course, always. That's right.
And so, and Freddy was just such a great villain. He's probably my favorite horror villain of all time, because he was also kind of the writing for him was always smart.
That's right.
It was clever. It was smart. He was just that guy who wasn't just there to kill you. He was kind of going to toy with you.
No, he was, and he did. Yeah.
And he did. Yeah. So
that's great. Yeah.
Great pick. Good. All right. So my next pick, I'm going to go with Agent Smith from The Matrix.
Yeah.
So he's really neat to me just because he is so like deadpan, that blank dead face where he's not robotic like say the Terminator or something.
That's right.
But he's just kind of like he's basically a physical manifestation of a computer program.
Yeah.
I mean that's honestly exactly what he is.
That's right.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it.
Oops.
That's okay. I'm not giving anything away because they tell you that right in the first few minutes of the movie.
Right.
So the actor that plays that, Hugo Weaving, I looked that up before the video.
Right.
He just did such a good job
Yeah.
in that, and I like the fact that while he's supposed to be emotionless, he actually develops some emotions.
Oh yeah, sure.
So it's almost like AI kind of learning, and then him developing a little bit of a personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just perfect in that.
Oh, he is. All the way through the series as well. I mean, he continues to contribute as the perfect villain for against Neo.
Yeah, I mean now you can, just my opinion, you can skip movies 2 and 3.
You can.
Movie 1 is the great movie, and the other two have the name.
And I think even in the later movies, he becomes. There's certainly the second movie. He becomes even the more important figure than some of the others.
I
he
agree.
just kind of steals the show.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that because they're showing his arc.
It would be the only reason to watch the second time.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
so he's going to make my list.
No, that's a really good pick. So, all right. So my second one is going to be Hans Gruber of Die Hard, the best Christmas movie ever.
Yes,
no doubt, and it is a Christmas movie. Maybe we'll have a video debate of Christmas movies and whether Die Hard is one or not. But it is a Christmas movie. Let's not forget.
Absolutely.
And Takamura Tower and Hans Gruber is just the accent. Even the deadpan humor that shows up from time to time. He gets frustrated. I even and his name all of a sudden escapes me. I looked his name up as well, but his name escapes me as well. The actor's name, but he shows up in Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves as well. He really is typecast the right way as a villain. And does everything that you would expect a villain to do in Die Hard.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. He's a great villain, and I love the fact that he's a thief, but he's stylish.
Of course, that's right.
He's just got that accent. He can make those brutal choices, but it's that's just what he does.
That's what he does. That's exactly right.
So yeah. He was on my list, but yeah, he's great. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna go with this as a villain. This is a character. This is gonna be Thanos.
Oh yeah.
Of course, the big unseen threat for most of the Marvel build up until we got to Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then of course Endgame. And I really like him again because the writing for him was very smart. He wasn't just this big, ultra powerful being.
Right.
He had a motive.
He did.
He had a motive which was very diabolical in the fact that it was going to kill half of every living thing in existence. But he was doing it for a reason, and in his mind, that reason was a just reason.
That's right.
It was a just cause to embark upon this course of action.
Yeah.
If he could do that, and he was so committed to it, it didn't matter if it cost him his own life or his own well-being.
No.
He was going to do that.
Yeah, no. Well, and having a character who doesn't have to worry about that or isn't concerned with their own well-being, that makes this person even more villainous in the sense that there's no motivating principle of even self-preservation.
Right.
Whatever destruction comes, and so generally even villains, if they're motivated by self-preservation, have an end to what they'll do because they don't want to be destroyed. But Thanos becomes this terribly scary and terrifying character because of that.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, which I think you needed that because the character, the people that are the protagonists of the series are so powerful and so good. Oftentimes movies are defined by the struggle. And the protagonists are defined by the enemy.
That's right. Right. No, that's good.
So
good pick. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go, and this I had several to kind of choose from in this whole genre. and that is all of the villains in the Batman saga from the beginning, all the different iterations of Batman. But I'm going to go with, obviously, Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yep.
Not just because of Heath Ledger's performance, though that was classic, and one of the best villainous performances ever, but because of the way that character was written in The Dark Knight. He was, again, there wasn't even self-interest that he had. It was a lot like Thanos, where it was whatever destruction, whatever chaos is going to come, it's just whether it harms me or not is not a big deal. And so when he burns the pile of money, and again, he's showing that it's not out of self-interest that he's doing these crimes. And his motivation, of course, is different than Thanos, just to create chaos, but nonetheless, a very villainous character.
So I'm glad that you brought him up because he. So if we could use a Dungeons and Dragons reference, it'd be like the different alignments.
Right.
Joker would be chaotic evil.
Yep.
Thanos would be lawful evil.
Of course. No, that's good.
It's because
that's really good.
Thanos will do anything that he can within his own ethos.
That's right.
Joker will just do anything.
Yeah.
You don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Motivated by chaos.
Yeah. Endgame is going to be evil, but it's motivated by chaos.
Yeah.
So obviously Heath Ledger's performance of all of them just is head and shoulders above.
I love all of them.
Yeah, and Joker is definitely Batman's iconic villain. Batman and Spider-Man have the best rogues gallery.
Of course. But
the Joker's a great one.
Yeah, good.
Okay, a couple left here. So I think I'm going to go Star Wars. Maybe we should end with Star Wars. No, I'll go with Star Wars. So I'm going to take Darth Vader.
Okay, that's a great one. Of course, he was on my list as well, but that's a great pick.
So I think the reason I've got to go with Darth Vader is just because I saw the original Star Wars in a movie theater, and I was very young when I saw it, and I wasn't scared of Darth Vader. I probably should have been.
Yeah, that's right.
But to me, he was just that person that filled that screen up with menace.
That's right.
Like, you knew as soon as you saw him what he was all about.
That's right.
From the costuming, the voice,
yeah.
Just the physical presence on screen.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tremendous marriage of David Prowse in the suit as that physical presence, and then James Earl Jones lending his voice to it.
Classic.
And because he's behind the mask and because you can't see him, there's no emotion. There's almost no emotion in the voice.
That's right.
Except for in the very end of the movie where the TIE fighter, where the wing gets shot and he kind of goes spin up. And he's like, what?
What
that's
did
the
happen?
only time that he expresses really any emotion.
That's right.
Because all the lines are just delivered as almost matter of fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he speaks in this way that's very proper. Of course, they're fighting with the lightsabers, which are just proxies for swords.
It's
just awesome.
Yeah, no, it really is. And the opening scene where he appears coming out of the smoke and the door that's been blown apart just is one of the most iconic introductions of a villain ever in any movie.
Yes.
Just classic.
Yes, absolutely. So there's obviously several that we could have picked from the Star Wars universe, and I actually had a couple on my list.
Sure.
But I couldn't not pick Darth Vader and pick somebody else in front of him. So Darth Vader is going to take it for me.
All right. So I'm going to go with science fiction.
Okay.
Another movie that where the villain, this villain may be a little odd to think of as a villain, and that is 2001: A Space Odyssey. Hal, the computer.
Yeah.
Who was just villainous in every conceivable way, and I think one of the biggest reasons why he's a terrifying villain, and that's the computer that's controlling and taking over, where you kind of have AI that's learning and growing, is that the purpose, the reason why HAL was created, the reason why the computer was created was for good. And he ends up turning this. It's kind of like the social dilemma. If you've seen that documentary, where that which was maybe meant for good has turned out to be evil.
Yeah, so. It's amazing how many movies are built around that premise with this technology that's supposed to be wonderful, going just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And it scares me because like when I walk into Sam's Club all the time, there's that guy that's there trying to sell me that thing I can hook up to my house is going to wire.
That's right. Control everything.
No
thanks.
not
No, I don't want it.
I've seen the Terminator. I've seen the Matrix. I've seen 2001.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
I don't want it.
Nope.
No.
Just say no.
No, I love it.
All right. So that's going to bring us to my last pick, and I'm going to go with another Hans.
Okay.
I'm going with Hans Landa.
Oh, yes.
Christoph Waltz's iconic performance in *Inglourious Bastards*.
Amazing.
He is playing the head of the SS, the person who's tasked with hunting down the Jews in France.
That's right.
And again, just plays this great part where he's a thoroughly evil character on an evil mission with an evil head guy above him, and he just does it with so much style. It's like you can't not be engaged.
That's right. That's right.
The saving grace with most of the movie is he's not physically engaged and actually carrying that out.
That's
so it's just him talking and discussing.
You just know
people,
what's happening.
But you just know what's happening.
Right.
So it's horrific, but he just does it so well.
Yeah. Oh, he does.
And then, of course, in the end of the movie, he kind of gets what's coming to him.
Of course.
Even though he gets everything he wanted, he gets what's coming to him. And it's very satisfying.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's that picture of judgment coming at the end. That, kind of why do the wicked prosper? And it's a bit in the end he gets his own. And there's this scene, the most classic scene for me in the movie is at the outset in the home of the farmer and his 3 daughters, and there's just a tension that is there. I mean, it's like Alfred Hitchcock wrote it. I mean, just the tension is amazing, and you know from that point on, anytime he appears, you're gonna feel that level of tension.
Yeah,
it's a great
performance.
Great performance. Yeah, he's a fabulous villain. Yeah. No, that's good.
So he's going to be the last on my list.
All right. So and I struggled with some of who these last ones would be, but I'm going to go with Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs.
I figured he was going to make the list.
He had, he had to make the list. He is this pure evil. He's a psychopath, a sociopath. There's nothing about him that's not evil, but he's so reasonable in what he's doing.
Yes. And
you never know when you're engaged with him in the movie, when Jodie Foster's engaged with him in the movie, you never know what part of his evil he's playing at that moment.
Yeah.
Manipulative, controlling. The whole story of why he is where he is and what he has done, and everything about him is just pure evil.
Yeah, so he is really one of the great characters brought to the screen, and he's one of my favorite on-screen villains. Yeah. Anthony Hopkins, obviously, is just a masterful actor. Yeah. Hannibal Lecter is one of those guys that I'm fascinated by. He would actually make my list of people I'd love to have coffee with.
Right. Yeah.
Because kind of the rules with Hannibal Lecter are you have to stay out of his way. Like you cannot you cannot inhibit him from carrying out his plans.
Yeah.
You can't be boring, and you've got to be polite.
Yeah.
As long as you're those 3 things,
you're good to go.
You're going to be okay around him because he doesn't have a defined ethos like Thanos does. Right. But he's also not quite as chaotic as the Joker is either.
Absolutely.
So there's this weird thing about him, and he's a brilliant character.
Yeah.
And he on screen he's just really good.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
I love it.
And I like it that he doesn't like a bully. So,
I know, of course, absolutely.
So there's several parts in the books and in the movies where the bully gets his at the hands of Hannibal Lecter.
That's right.
Which is interesting because he's the villain.
He is the villain. Yeah.
So yeah. So
good,
all right,
yeah, those are great picks. I really like the ones you chose.
I love yours. Yeah. So all right, so that's our picks for our favorite movie villains. Who did we have that you guys agreed with? Who did we leave off the list that maybe scared you or excited you on screen? Leave those comments down below. Let us know. Leave the video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. That would be awesome.
That's right.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.